Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. We are going to be covering Pathways to Impact, exploring the TKC professional membership experience. We are so thrilled that you have chosen to spend your time with us today. We are excited to really talk about our professional membership tier and give a lot of time for a panel discussion with some amazing professional members that we have brought on today. So within this hour that we have today, I'm going to kick us off with an overview of the Teaching Kitchen Collaborative and our membership levels, specifically our professional membership, and some enhancements that we are launching today officially. And then we'll turn it over from there for a panel discussion so you can hear from some of our current professional members and learn a little bit more about their journeys and their perspectives on this Teaching Kitchen movement. And then we will open it up for Q&A from there. So we encourage you throughout the session today to use the chat feature or the Q&A feature to submit your questions as we go. And we'll try to get to as many as we can at the end. As a reminder, we are recording this session and we will send out the link to the recording and along with the slides following today's session. We are not providing continuing education credits for this webinar, although we hope there'll be a lot of learning to be had throughout the conversation today. And as I mentioned, we encourage you to submit your questions anytime in the chat or the Q&A. And I should also just take a step back and just introduce myself and a little bit about the Teaching Kitchen Collaborative. So my name is Allison Reiter. I'm the Director of Membership and Programs with the Teaching Kitchen Collaborative. And we are an organization that is dedicated to the growth, proliferation, and refinement of teaching kitchens to improve human and planetary health. We are celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year, and it's been really exciting, for me personally to have been at the forefront at the starting of this organization in its infancy, and to now be back in this role in the last year and a half to really grow and support this thriving and growing membership community in this larger momentum that we're seeing across the food as medicine sphere. So we're a membership organization. We currently have 3 different tiers of membership types. Our primary, most robust membership level that we operate in, really that we started from, is at the organizational level. So we support institutions that have existing or soon to be started Teaching Kitchen programs across clinical education and community settings. We have a professional membership tier for individuals passionate about teaching kitchens that may or may not be directly affiliated with an institution. And then we also have a corporate membership tier for for-profit entities that are mission aligned and operate or plan to operate a teaching kitchen program. And so we provide more details about each of these membership tiers on our website. And just to give you a snapshot of our current membership to date, we are thrilled that we are growing again. From the early days, we started with about 20 organization members and really thought leaders in this space. And now we're up to 72 organization members, primarily in the US, but also across the globe, and 3 corporate members who have continued to support this work from the very beginning. And we have about 350 professional members. And so this is a really special community of people, a community of practice. And I want to focus a little bit on our professional membership, since that's that is the theme for today, that we launched this membership in 2022. And so we really wanted to provide a space, a community for individuals who were perhaps just getting started or wanted to start a teaching kitchen program. Maybe they had been working independently for some time, weren't affiliated with an organization, but wanted to still connect with peers in the space and wanted to feel like they were part of this larger movement. And we launched this membership with some existing benefits around having a digital badge to showcase your membership. We provided and still provide what we call a Kitchen Catalyst newsletter, which provides bi-monthly content that follows a kind of a pathway development theme from inception to launching and scaling a teaching kitchen program. We provide ongoing webinars led by our TKC members and other industry experts, many of which offer CPUs for RDNs. And we have a member portal that we're continuing to add with new resources, including the Ultimate Teaching Kitchen Toolkit, which we just launched this past March. And we have had a virtual networking platform exclusive to our professional members called Hilo. And so we have tracked our membership. We've seen really great, growth and engagement within this membership community since 2022. So it's only, just been a few short years. And, since I've come on board and our team has grown, and we've tried to listen to as many of our members as possible to, get some insights, get some feedback on what's working, what's not working, what can be improved. So we really worked over the last 6 months or so to further enhance the value proposition for this membership tier. So we are really thrilled to be able to share with you and be launching officially today some enhanced benefits for the professional membership tier. Within the member portal, where we have a variety of really great resources as a starting point, we've increased the access to additional resources, including a recipe library that has over 100 tested Teaching Kitchen friendly recipes that have been submitted and curated in a nice standard format from our organization and corporate members. And we also are providing access to a webinar library. So you can have, at your fingertips, access on demand, on your own time, to watch any of the past video recordings from all the webinars that we've done just in the last couple of years. We're also really thrilled to be transitioning over to a new professional forum, moving from Hilo over to a groups.io platform. And we're super excited and very confident that this is going to be a much more user-friendly experience. And in addition to the platform itself being really great and user-friendly, we are thrilled to be engaging with Lauren Chandler, who you'll be hearing from today, as our a volunteer professional membership engagement chair, who has offered to step in and help moderate and foster active discussion and engagement within the professional membership community. And we also are hoping to do more of these kinds of live opportunities and virtual meetups for folks to hear from other professional members, have an opportunity to meet and greet and connect and identify opportunities for collaboration. So this is more of a webinar style kickoff to this kind of networking opportunity, but we hope to be able to continue these on a quarterly basis and have a chance to hear from more members. So with that, that's just quick overview. I'm going to come back in at the end to help facilitate some Q&A and provide some just final reminders about communications that you'll be getting following this webinar about how to activate and access all of those new enhanced benefits. But really want to spend the bulk of this time today so that you can hear from our amazing panel of current professional members and have a chance to interact and ask them some of your own questions. So with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Lauren Chandler to kick things off.
Thank you so much, Allison. My name's Lauren, and I am based in Portland, Oregon. I've been teaching health supportive cooking for over 25 years. I'm not affiliated with any organization or institution. I have my virtual space downstairs. I teach from my own kitchen. I also partner with organizations and businesses locally and nationally and globally, and teach classes in person and, of course, virtually. I also was adjunct faculty for a time at one of the organizational member institutions, which is the National University of Natural Medicine. I was adjunct there, and I taught classes like cooking pedagogy and seasonal cooking. And I'm so glad they're members too. I love this community. So let's move on, and I'd love for each of you to introduce yourselves. Let's start with you, Krista.
Hello, I'm Krista Dement Gonzalez. I am so pleased to be here. This is like a full circle moment for me because I knew I wanted to be in nutrition education, but not in a restaurant or a hospital or sort of the traditional pathways. So I consider the way I got to where I am, a polka dotted path, but all the dots connect. And I think so I've worked in pop-up kitchens and farmers markets. I also have been an adjunct faculty in the nutrition department, worked in a very schwanky resort, as well as worked in some really like community access programs. And I just recently took on a new role in grocery stores here in the Pacific Northwest in the Seattle area called PCC Markets, where I am the chef dedicated to that teaching kitchen within the grocery store. So I love that I get to speak to other members sort of maybe at a different point on their journey, because I think that being connected with the Teaching Kitchen Collaborative is sort of a touchstone for me when I need a little more energy, when I need to talk to someone who knows what I'm talking about. So I'm really happy to be here and to share parts of my polka dotted path with you all.
I hear you on the polka dots. Absolutely. Many different colors and shades and sizes.
Yes.
Congrats on your new job. And let's hear from Martin.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Martin Bombasi. I'm from the Southern California area, and I'm a registered dietitian. I've been a dietitian for almost 2 years now, and really my teaching sort of kitchen movement has started when I was an undergrad. And really, I didn't know how to cook, but I wanted to be healthy. So I started to cook, and then I majored in nutrition. And then after majoring in nutrition, I realized that some of my clients didn't know how to cook and thought healthy food wasn't tasty. So then that was like the start of my journey of figuring out recipes and culinary techniques to teach them kind of how to cook. And then really that's when the whole idea of them following my nutrition recommendations went through. So that's kind of how I started. And currently, I'm an online dietitian with Nourish, a company that caters to all 50 states in America. So yeah, that's how it started. And like where I want to go is really in the teaching movement, where I'm doing a lot more online cooking demos and also in-person classes. And right now I do online demos for different groups like medical students and even some medical schools and everything. But really the teaching kitchen I feel like is helping me meet a lot of people so then I could really learn how to take it to the next level. So I'm great to share what I've kind of done so far and what the future holds.
Fantastic, Martin. And I checked out some of your videos. That Thai basil pesto, I'm going to make that. That looked amazing.
Thanks.
David.
Hi, everyone. I'm David Curlis, and I own Refresh Kitchen, which is a personal chef service company, but also incorporates an education component located in Culpeper, Virginia, which is about an hour and a half southwest of Washington, D.C. My journey I've been a professional chef for over 20 years, most of that in healthcare, which I think is the catalyst for me starting Refresh Kitchen. Our mission is to help people start thinking about their health earlier in life and make more intentional food choices when they can. Starting Refresh Kitchen, seeing the impact our diet has on our health, working in healthcare, was a big push to start Refresh Kitchen and help people maybe start making small, healthier eating habits, and learning how to use more plant-centered forward ingredients.
Definitely, you're in good company. It's nice to see you again, David. David and I connected through the online platform and had a nice chat a handful of months ago.
Yeah, been a member of the TKC for I guess about 2 years now. It's a great place for resources and community, and just learning from others who are maybe farther along in the path than I am.
Mhm. Great. So Martin and David, you shared a little bit about what initially got you into the Teaching Kitchen movement, but I want to go into that a little bit more. If either of you, David, if you have anything more you want to say about what initially drew you to it, and then we can have Martin share if you have anything else, and then Krista.
For me, it was big draw to be part of a community that I'm safe to say we all believe food is medicine, food can be medicine. So just being a part of that and conversations and like learning.
And I'm going to just step in for 1 second. We're going to talk in a little bit about being a member of the organization, but I just meant the movement itself. What drew you initially to being part of Teaching Kitchen?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Here.
So the movement, just like I said, seeing how the standard American diet was impacting our health, and my health, personally getting older, and you can't eat the same way I did 20 years ago and feel the same way. And my parents, seeing aging parents and helping care for them, and being active in the community. I've done some recipe development for the food pantries in locally, the community classes, just they're a big desire to eat healthier, with limited resources, limited access. Culpeper is a rural community with a pretty sizable livestock agriculture population. So there's interest in eating more plant-based, but there's also challenges with that, and I think hesitation with anything new or different.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's great that you're in that community. Thanks for sharing. Martin, is there anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, so kind of after going through undergrad in Long Beach, I decided to go to grad school in Texas because at the University of Texas Health Science Center, they had a combined program that focused on culinary medicine. So that really catapulted me into the whole teaching movement and wanting to be a part of it more because they had not only a state-of-the-art like teaching kitchen, but then also a garden. So then really bringing in the food from the garden to the kitchen and then relating it to the patients in the medical center really helped me kind of put all the pieces together and feel that this was the movement for me. And really it's going to make the most impact on my patients by actually like teaching them the skills and then also applying kind of the health behaviors to it as well. So yeah, I think that's what drew me in, and I stuck with it, and I'm keeping on practicing and really just trying to find new ways to delve into this new career. So yeah.
Great. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. And Krista.
Well, I think looking back, I was interested in this teaching kitchen movement before I knew it existed, right? I knew that fewer and fewer people were learning how to cook, and that there was a sense of, oh, cooking healthy is expensive, or it's too hard, or I always mess up. And so my goal, and I sort of gave myself the present of going to Healthy Kitchens, Healthy Lives conference as a graduation gift from grad school. And I arrived there and I was like, oh my gosh, these are my people. We're all trying to do the same thing. The ways we do it might be different, but we're trying to find ways in whatever pocket of the community that you're in to meet someone where they're at, and having a whole bunch of people doing it in different ways was so inspiring, and it really helped me find ways to turn what might seem like, oh, that's not really that's not really a teaching kitchen moment if someone's coming for a spa getaway weekend, but there is a teaching kitchen there, and I am going to help them feel better about choosing healthier foods through that experience. So I think that the other thing that I have learned and sort of keep coming back to the TKC is that you can build a teaching kitchen wherever, and it matters more about how you present yourself and who you collaborate with, to be able to build what you want, right? It's an emerging field. It's growing exponentially. So I think being able to have a group of people doing the same thing in all over the country is really what keeps me here, really what keeps me involved, and really excited about the the new member portals and benefits. So I think it's because sometimes we feel like I'm explaining myself again and again. What does culinary medicine mean? So having a group of people who might help you along in finding the right way to explain it to somebody, or just sliding it into, some other teaching topics is it's very supportive. And that's something that I feel like you can get lost sometimes in big organizations. And I don't feel like you get lost here. You make the effort to connect, and people are really happy and really, they're willing to share. So watching a webinar and then reaching out to someone afterwards got me thinking about doing research, and talking to someone after a conference got me some help that I needed in terms of building a kitchen that was in progress. So I think that there's just so many ways to stay involved and to know that this is a group of people who are singing the same song,
Definitely. And I love how we're all doing it. There's overlap in how we're doing it. And we also are doing our own things in the professional membership. So there's so much to learn and share. And like just the camaraderie feels really good.
Yes.
So I'm going to go further back. What initially led me to the Teaching Kitchen movement, which didn't exist back then, when I was a kid, my mom died from cancer. And the way that I saw her treatment, it just seemed off to me. And so I was very curious about how other cultures approach health and healing. And after college, I had a fellowship, and I was out of the US for a year, kitchen hopping around the globe. And what I found was that wherever I went, the kitchen, of course, was like where there was the warmth and the energy, and was so inviting. And it didn't matter the language, but a tomato is a tomato and a smile is a smile. And I just loved what was happening in there. And during that year, I learned a lot. But the key thing for me was like I learned to make soup, which was just a revelation for me. And when I got back to the States, I just was like, this was only a few ingredients, all plants, and it took no time, not a lot of money. Like, I got to share this with everyone. And so that was really what sparked it. And I knew very little. I didn't know. I mean, I just did a whole lot of putting myself out there. And the first class I taught was at my yoga studio. And I just had my little table and had my little burner and set it all up. And I still do that sort of thing. I go into businesses and I have my table in front of me and my table behind me, and I'm in a conference room. And you can do it in so many different settings. So with that said, I want to talk more about how being part of TKC has influenced your development, personal, professional. Let's go back to you, Krista. You were already starting to get into it.
Yeah, happy to. I think that, realizing that there was this organization of people connected for a cause helped me explore lots and lots of different aspects. So my first teaching kitchen was at some LA farmers markets, and being able to talk to other members who were also these were kids classes, and they were connecting farmers and schools in Los Angeles, and being able to talk to other people leading kids classes and really, work on things like timing of the class, the ingredients, like the fact that this was a grant funded program opened my eyes to, oh, guess what? There's lots of grants out there to work on this. And then I moved on, the grant ended. I moved on from that to another job, and that one was housed within a School of Medicine, and was working on a produce prescription program. And really there, that highlighted for me the research possibilities, right? To prove that what we're doing has an impact. And so then I gave myself the gift of going to the research conference and connecting with people there and talking about, like, we all know that it feels good to cook with a community of people and empower them in the kitchen. But when we have the research to back it up, it's really, really impactful. So being able to go from working in a farmer's market and, public school system to a school of medicine. And seeing and just always having this lens on of how this could be more impactful. That's what I mean by saying, like, having the Teaching Kitchen Collaborative as a touchstone or a
Yeah.
check-in, or reading a newsletter and saying, like, oh my gosh, yes, this is the way forward. And these are all the other ways forward. And just being really open to that has been really helpful to me. I think the polka dots connect, right? But there is no real map for what we're doing. And so being inspired by other people in the community helps you say, like, it's okay if there's not, turn here and now you've arrived at your teaching kitchen. That's just not,
Mhm.
we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But I think that being able to just be nimble and flexible and know that that's kind of what we're all doing, is being nimble and flexible, is really how it's influenced how I'm running classes, or how I'm developing other ways to have an impact in communities.
Mhm. That's really great advice too for other folks to hear. Being nimble is very important.
Yes.
Thank you. Martin, can you share a bit about how being a member of TKC has influenced your development personally or professionally, or both?
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like early on, I thought a dietitian can only be like in the hospital, or be, in certain food service departments, or even just counseling. But I never realized that there could be a chef and a RD. Like, you have both of those kind of backgrounds and everything. So then that's what kind of led me to delve deeper, like in going to grad school and learning about this movement, and then also the Teaching Kitchen Collaborative, and diving deep into that. And I feel like currently just being a member has introduced me to a lot of RDs who are actually into this movement, and I could collaborate with them. And there are actually so many of us. So there definitely was like the powers of numbers. And then just having the opportunity for people in the organization to reach out to me and to learn more about me felt really good too. So then I could learn about how I can further my career. So I'm still like pretty young in the career, but I feel like as a member, I felt really valued that there were a lot of potential mentors out there when, it was high low at the time, or now at a different platform, or even members on the board. So yeah, I think it's really great to any either people wanting to be dietitians or are dietitians still trying to go into the movement. It's a great organization to be a part of, and just the start of something new. So yeah.
Absolutely. That's so nice to hear. And also just how we are all working in our own little silos, and we don't have to be. We have each other this, because of TKC. Now we are able to connect. So very
Yeah.
grateful. And David, we'd love to have you add.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest piece for me, is the community and being able to connect to other people. Being a solo business owner and a first-time business owner, um, it just can feel very isolating a lot of times, and lonely. So being able to connect, I'm excited to be able to connect with all the members on the new platform, but also the information and resources. I'm a bit of a hoarder of information, so all of the downloads that are available are so great. I downloaded the toolkit. The beginner's guide to setting up a kitchen was so valuable. The webinars, I've watched several webinars. I'm excited to check out the recipe section. That's going to be great. It just, yeah, the resources, the connection, I think are very valuable. And the symposium, I didn't get to go last year, but I'm hopeful to go this year. I think that
Good.
would be so great learning opportunity.
Yeah, I hope you can make it. See you there.
Yep.
I will echo the sentiment that others have said, without being too redundant. Yes, working alone, running my own business, it's really nice to have a connection to other people doing such aligned work. I also want to say that TKC has given me opportunity to stretch myself. I'm constantly learning from other members, whether it is through the webinars or resources on the website. Also on LinkedIn, I'm seeing people posting, members posting the articles they're publishing and the classes they're teaching, and it's just really exciting and nourishing. Like, oh yeah, look what that person's doing, look what that person's doing, and then like connecting in just this very genuine way. We're all all in this together. Also, like having opportunities that I wouldn't have had otherwise. I'm very comfortable teaching cooking and like having food in front of me and talking, but this kind of format, I don't do this very often. So to have the opportunity to step into a position like this, it's forcing me to learn and grow. So the next question, I would love to hear about a defining moment in your teaching kitchen work, something that felt especially meaningful, if there's anything that stands out to you, and if there are any lessons that you've learned the hard way that you'd be willing to share. Martin, we'd love to hear from you first.
Great. Yeah. So I feel like a defining moment in my teaching kitchen work, and I feel like there's gonna be more defining moments as I get, deep into the career. But one of them was in grad school where I had the opportunity to teach a group of medical students how to cook food from my culture. I taught them how to cook Filipino food, something that, a lot of people in medical school have maybe not been exposed to, and sometimes really especially in America, a lot of people may think, oh, Filipino food is not healthy. And on the outside, it may seem like that. But then once you dive deep into the culture and the different areas in the Philippines, you realize there's a lot of really good, healthy food that can contribute and provide enough vitamins, minerals, protein, etc. So just to be able to do that in Texas in a group of medical students who are about to potentially interact with, like, say, Filipinos. So they have the background that they need to educate them and be like, okay, yes, you have a Filipino diet and you have diabetes, hypertension, etc., but you don't need to give up your cultural foods. You could still consume them and manage all of these chronic diseases. So to be able to do that in a teaching kitchen was amazing, and have it being a cooking demo too, it just really was such a defining moment because I realized that I could do that all across the US and in my career as a dietitian. And really it's since it was a group setting, I was able to sort of share stories about my culture, and that's really what cooking is. It's you're sharing like a big part and a big story and crafting it in a way that teaches people how to cook. So that was a great opportunity, and I feel like that's why I work with medical students or medical schools right now. So yeah.
I'm sure that I hate to use the pun, but they ate it right up.
They did, yeah.
It must have been very well received, the stories and the food. That's great.
Yeah.
Love hearing that. And David, any defining moment and any lessons learned the hard way?
I don't know if there's one big defining moment. As more there's just little defining moments for maybe each time I teach each class. It can be, you could see someone's face light up when they try a new dish, a new ingredient, and be like, wow, that's really good. I can't wait to try this at home. They leave inspired, maybe having learned a few things. I've taught classes where there have been individuals who have never had eggplant before, or have only ever had frozen or canned vegetables like Brussels sprouts, and have tried a fresh roasted Brussels sprout, and they're like, wow, this is actually good. Um, just little things like that, the joy and the inspiration that they come away with. Challenges, touched briefly on it before, just the access, I think, to healthy food, healthier ingredients.
But any
And
challenges for you that stand out in your career path around this?
challenge, yeah,
Any lessons that you've learned the hard way?
being flexible,
Yeah.
being able, open-minded to meeting people where they're at, what they need, and teaching small steps, small change,
Mhm.
instead of trying to be one big, changing your diet in one big, clean out the pantry. It's incorporating, it's maybe going from eating animal products 2 to 3 times a day to maybe 2 to 3 times a week,
Mhm.
something like, along those lines.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Like little tiny changes can
Yeah,
really add up over time and not
small steps,
overwhelming
baby steps.
folks. Mhm. Thanks. And Krista. Oh, I think you're muted. Hold on, let me unmute you.
Here we are.
There we go.
Here we go. Thank you. Well, I will put it right out there that I thought that the end goal of like having my own teaching kitchen, that was it, right? And so I raced towards that. And the challenge, like a defining moment is you're like, oh my gosh, I've got this teaching kitchen. They're building it for me right now. This is going to be amazing. And then to get there and have a lot of, bigger than bumps in the road. So just being totally honest with you to say that that was like a defining moment to realize maybe the whole construction and being a project manager of a construction site kind of thing is that's not what I signed up for. But in the meantime, while we're figuring out this construction, like what else can I do? And looking at like who else is doing aligned work, and how can I help them? How can we partner together? And I ended up, this construction project was going on and on. But during that time, I partnered with the Children's Museum, and they had a grant that they had to use in their teaching kitchen at the Children's Museum. So let's make some videos together. And so doing that, I learned a bunch of sort of production value things about making food videos. And I was invited to make a video in English and in Spanish for an employee wellness program for the hospital. And so having the time and having the ability to sort of like, your head is in the hole as you're digging, and to just pop up and be like, what else could I do? Because I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere digging down here. And so that really helped me. So I did some employee wellness. And then people heard, oh, she's great. You could have her on your show. And then I was invited to be on a PBS show. So getting the nerves out, or like looking around and seeing what else you can do when you're just like beating your head against the wall at the hurdle or the roadblock that's there. That actually, that actually prepared me for things that I'm doing now a couple years later, right? Being on camera, not something I thought I would do, but now I love it. And those opportunities presented themselves because I was at a roadblock, right? So I was looking for other ways to continue to do what I intended to do there. I think so. I think that is very important along this path. You might feel like this is it. I have arrived, and then you arrive, and you're not really there. It's not quite ready for you. What else can you do? What else there? Because there are so many opportunities. There's funding from different national associations, diabetes, American Heart Association, like a lot of other places that are looking for the skills and the talent that you have, or this wonderful combination of skills and talent that you're developing. So I think that was an important defining moment. Like I thought I had everything that I wanted and I didn't. And by turning around and looking at what else I could still be doing to fulfill like my goal and my mission, and help people where I was is really, that was eye-opening for me. Like it's not, I have arrived and I have a teaching kitchen. No, you can keep going in other ways. And then I think something else like really meaningful and important. And I loved Martin talking about teaching people about his cultural foods that can be healthy. I think that's another really important aspect of the whole emerging field of culinary medicine, teaching people to cook healthy does not always mean like a kale salad, right? And so I think that's the other like really impactful learning that I've had teaching in places from, you know, Southern California to the deep South is
Mhm.
a, adjusting and meeting people where they're at and finding those recipes that are familiar enough to them, and sort of opening the door to, this is culturally appropriate food that is also really good for you. Like, it doesn't have to be this sort of like shameful thing, right? Your food is not a shameful thing. So and that goes way back to sort of even my my in-laws, and the the food of the Caribbean is like, there's a lot of really delicious and healthy food there, and we can find that and focus on that. And so I think those are two things that have been really impactful for me, is recognizing that a roadblock isn't always a roadblock, to like step back from it, look at other opportunities, and then also to be ready to adapt to the people that you are working with, and to find that bridge over culturally appropriate foods is really, really important.
Absolutely. Um, I was thinking about this. There's so many pivotal moments, but one that I could remember from early on, again, was I was teaching a group of teenagers who were living in a residential facility, and it had been a few classes in, and it finally really felt like it gelled when we were making apple crisp. And everybody, we just spent like an hour peeling apples and chopping apples, and like such a simple task, but everybody was laughing, and it really just, it drove home how like it's so much more. It's about the community piece. It's about connection and joy, and sure, technique, recipes, all these things are important, but people are going to absorb these lessons much easier if they're having a good time and they're relaxed and they're engaged. And you're not like just being lectured at, or, I think the delivery and the warmth, like it's been mentioned already, really makes a difference. This is the kitchen, right? And what I love that I'm seeing a lot more within the Teaching Kitchen community is, like, of course, there's going to be an emphasis on the nutrients, and that's where we want people to be healthy. That's of course. And if we could talk about magnesium, we can talk about the benefits of dark leafy greens till we're blue in the face. If it doesn't taste good, we know that they're not going to eat it. Nobody's going to eat it. And these, really focusing on the flavors, the colors, the textures, the shapes, the creativity, the simplicity, really breaking it down for people in these ways. I love, and I've always led with that, with the deliciousness, rather than getting into, I hate to call it the weeds, but kind of like the nitty gritty around nutrition, because I have found some people might glaze over or feel intimidated. Other people really want that. But you got to know your audience, and some people really just are like, show me how to make this. Like, I want this to taste good, and I'm going to trust that this is good for me. And you're like, yeah, this is vegetables. This is going to be really good for you. And like, let's get into the deliciousness. So I think we have time for maybe one more question. For those for those just starting out, I guess just like one more piece of advice or a mindset that has helped you sustained over the years. For Krista, who's been in it for some time, and Martin and David, maybe just like one more little hint of advice.
I really just have to emphasize again, saying yes to things, like you said earlier, saying yes to things that stretch you out of your comfort zone, and
don't overthink it. Go for it.
just be bold. I mean, really, I think that's the thing. There is so much opportunity out there that even when you feel like, I'm not sure, be bold and put yourself out there.
And I think that also is like the beauty of TKC is, I put out there on Hilo, hey, anyone want to have like an online coffee? And that's how David and I connected. And, other people responded. And I was kind of like, oh, this might be weird, but what's there to lose, right? The worst that happens is nobody responds. And the best that happens is what did happen. People did respond, and I got to make some really great connections. Martin?
Yeah, I would, echo that, be bold, because definitely. I would say 2 years ago, I came back from Texas and California. I had no idea kind of how to start this entire journey, but I showed up to a medical student conference just because I wanted to somehow, be a dietitian in that space. And when I showed up there, that was the start of me getting to know all these organizations and offering my dietitian services or even like my cooking demo services. So just from that interaction, I was, able to do 2 or 3 cooking demos, just because either they asked for it or I asked them like, "Oh, do you want a cooking demo?" And it's something fun and exciting in healthcare that people need more of. They need more of the, I don't know, quote unquote fun side of healthcare, and helping them
It's
with
alive.
something that, yeah, exactly. That's like my biggest piece of advice. You never know.
Way to go. Yeah. David?
For me, I think two small pieces have been to what you and Krista kind of touched on is just taking the leap, imperfect action. Learn as you go, learn from the mistakes, and being connected with a community, whether that's local volunteering or a national, online group like this. It truly has helped. It keeps me inspired, keeps me informed, and feeling a lot less lonely.
Yeah, I will absolutely echo that. Just start, if you're hesitant, just go for it and you'll learn as you go. I remember when I first started my business, it took me forever to put up a website and come up with a name. And finally my brother said to me, people will find you if you use your name, slap cooks on the end of it and stop overthinking. And, I could have had a website and a business a lot sooner. Haven't changed the name, but that's fine. People can find me and they know it's cooking related. So, yeah, well, it's really been such a pleasure chatting with you all and getting to know you some. And I'm looking forward to more down the line. Allison, we got some time for questions.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much just to all of you. It's been such a joy hearing this conversation and just each of your personal journeys. If you all are any snapshot of the kinds of individuals within our membership community, like, wow, like we have some just amazing, passionate, dedicated people trying to change the world one bite at a time, really. So just kudos to each of you for the work that you're doing and for really leaning into this community. We have some time for questions. So through the Q&A function, I believe the chat might be disabled at this point, but the Q&A function should be working. You should be able to submit some any questions that you have for our amazing panelists here. So for those that are still with us and want to use this time to have any of your questions answered, would love that. While our audience members are putting in their questions, I'll just pitch one question out to the group that we didn't have a chance to get to, but would love to just like get each of your takes on where you think this field is going and what you are most excited about. If you could look into your crystal ball and, make your wildest dreams come true, or sort of where you see these things moving, what you're most excited about, would love to just get your take on that. Who wants to go first on that one?
I could start. I got interested in this about 5-ish years ago, and it was very trendy and niche then, and it's certainly become much more mainstream, and certainly doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. It feels like it's just going to continue to grow. There's definitely more interest in not just plant-based, plant-centered eating, but just being able to eat healthier in general. And healthy, I think, means something different to everyone. I don't think there is a one size fits all. And Lauren, Krista, and Martin all touched on that. Culture definitely needs to be a part of the conversation, as well as accessibility. But it certainly isn't going anywhere. I'm excited to see where it goes. I think sustainability will also become a much bigger piece of it, and hopefully we get away from the the lab created the meats, the impossible meats, and just steer towards more the whole food, whole ingredients.
Sure. Great. Thanks for sharing that. What about you, Krista?
I am super excited about this explosion of growth and about people being in different places and coming together to collaborate. Because as it was mentioned earlier, it can feel like a silo when there are teams of people, and having a team working together on something is so effective and powerful. So I'm excited for the teams that are going to come together of, the doctor who wants to prescribe a cooking class that's led by a chef and an RD. I think that's amazing. And I think we're almost there. And I think even higher up the chain, people are realizing, like health insurance companies are realizing that they could direct people to this really fun solution to better health. So I'm excited about those options to collaborate, and I'm excited about because there are enough people. I'm excited to be a resource to somebody starting out, and to build really fail-proof classes and quick little sound bites of teaching kitchen advice that is just like ready to roll. It's gonna go. So yeah. It's great.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Krista. Yeah, it's so great to have like just this scope of panelists that we have here representing like Martin on the early career side, all the way through veterans who've been doing this for, decades at this point, and just how generous each of you are with your like time and willingness to share. We talk about within the TKC, you may have heard us say this before, that like people are just like radical sharers. Like our community, people just love sharing what they're doing. They're so passionate what they're doing. So the fact that, you all are kind of echoing that today of just how willing you are to share what has worked, what your experience has been, how you can help someone, that's really how this whole movement gets propelled forward. So thanks for that. Martin, what about you?
For me, I was looking at the question like teaching kitchens evolving over the next 3 to 5 years, or even in the future. I really think I wish for a future where like maybe like companies and like workplaces can provide more time for people to have work-life balance and focus more on their health. We do give PTO, and then people do give PTO, and they give, say, like sick days and everything, but I don't know. I feel like I want to think outside the box where like maybe the company can go on like a retreat for like a week or two and have that be paid, and they go take care of their health like at a garden/kitchen somewhere. And that idea really, and I got inspiration from my school and grad school, where there's companies we host where they do cooking demos and gardening. So I really think I hope that our culture goes more towards creating more work-life balance and having that opportunity. And then we come in and be like, hey, here's a teaching kitchen. You could come for like a couple of days, a day or a week or something. And yeah.
Yes. So the teaching kitchen experience can be that kind of rest and rejuvenation that so many of us are looking for too. And so you're describing that like cultural shift that we want to see happen within, the sort of corporate workplace world, but just that like ability to have more work-life balance, work-life integration, and really kind of walk the talk, and what we're all saying. Lauren, we'll end with you, and then there is one great question here too that you all have touched on, but would love your thoughts on just the money, right? It all comes back to the money. Who funds this? How do we fund this? So would love your thoughts on that too.
So looking ahead, a couple things. I see more collaboration for sure. And the researchers, the chefs, the RDs, the doctors, the farmers. I love that like doctors and farmers are communicating. Farmers are doctors, really. They're growing medicine. And then folks communicating it. Like it just feels like things are coming together. And more, I think we're going to see that more and more and more collaborations. And that's what TKC is so much about. And then also I touched upon it a little bit before, but I think that Teaching Kitchen movement is really leading more and will continue to lead more with the taste, the flavor, the colors, the textures. And that's super exciting to me because that's my language. And then as far as the money, it was mentioned earlier that there are funding opportunities out there. And I'm not sure if they're announced through TKC, but I would imagine that I feel like I have seen some announcements for RFPs and things like that. I mean, I am running my own business and I've been piecemealing it together for over 10 years. And you know, it's a bit of a hustle. I will not lie. There's ebbs and flows, and you know, right now I'm doing a little personal chefing on the side, and you know, it just fluctuates with seasons. So I do think that there, at least if you're going to have your own business around this, like I don't want to have employees. I like to have like more low maintenance and like flexible free life in a way. And so so yeah, I guess have gotten comfortable with the ebbs and the flows, and just when it's like not flowing, then I'm just hustling to make sure that it's going to come back, and fortunately it has.
Right. That's such a helpful perspective as you know, individual business owner of what that
Yeah, and like,
mindset is.
and for me, like it's more important to do this work than I'm not in it. I don't have a master's in social work and teach cooking to make millions of dollars. Like that's not my top value and priority. I don't have a high cost of living and I'm not supporting a family. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. You can also do what I'm doing and build it bigger. But I'm like, I'm good where I'm at. I don't think I want a ton more clients. So that being said,
Great perspective. Any other final thoughts on this topic before we wrap up here?
I think
I would just,
as
Yeah,
far as
David,
the,
go ahead, and then
as far
Krista.
as the funding, if you're not already connected with your local small business development association, that's a great resource. If you know they don't have specific funding programs available, they can certainly direct you to other institutions, organizations that do. I've looked into that. So
Great tip. Thanks. And Krista?
I agree that that's one of the biggest questions, and maybe I'm going to just put it out there that that's the next webinar topic down the road, because I've worked under grants and schools, and there's just a lot of opportunity. You just have to dig for it, and a lot of the times, for some of the most impactful stuff, it's finding organizations that focus on preventative care for them to be willing to work with us as teaching kitchens.
and I would also say I'd add sustainability. A lot of people are coming from a sustainability lens now, and it's really one and the same the way that we cook.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I feel like this could be and is often a topic for much deeper conversation, and something that I think is, you know, that we try to kind of keep our finger on the pulse of the funding opportunities in the toolkit. There's a few pages on like how to think about different funding mechanisms, as you mentioned, Krista, and like there's a lot of different ways to think about it. Think about partnering, thinking about, you know, researching different grants or different partnership opportunities. So, to be continued on that front. But given the time here, want to wrap up with just a couple of closing thoughts and reminders. First of all, really just want to thank our panelists today. This conversation was just so enlightening, inspiring. It's so wonderful just to get them to meet the humans behind the work. You know, the work you all do is amazing, but really what I love about my job and I love about meeting our members and people in this space is just that human element. And I think that food sort of opens the door for that human connection. And that's really like where the magic happens is in the kitchen and around these kinds of just, you know, very personal and professional conversations. So thank you, each of you, for showing up today and contributing so much. Just a final couple reminders here that for our current TKC professional members, we will be sending out an email with details on how to activate and access all of your enhanced benefits. So you can watch for that coming through your inbox. We've made updates to the portal, so you can go on there and start to browse around and see some of the changes that we've made there. And then if you're not yet a professional member, we hope that this conversation has given you lots of great reasons to join and given you a peek into the types of people who are part of this amazing community. So we encourage you to learn more and sign up. If you maybe have been a past member or not sure of your membership status and want to review your account, there's the link to log in to review your account status. And then just putting a plug in here too, if there are folks who are affiliated with an organization and think you might be ready to apply for that full organization membership, that we are accepting applications through October 10th for our next January 2026 cohort. So there's information on how to apply there. Their social media information is available. So like us, follow us, be part of this conversation and this larger movement. You heard our panelists mention some of them will be there in person this December. And what a way to be together at the end of the year in a beautiful redwood setting at 1440 Multiversity. So we hope you'll join us for some in-person gathering time. We're also launching our next webinar in just a couple of weeks around this whole explosion of interest around medical nutrition education. So encourage you to join us for that. And we have 2 more webinars we'll be rolling out in October as well. So with that, I will close this out for the day. Thanks again for spending your valuable time with us, with the TKC, with these amazing folks on the call. We just keep up the great work that you're doing. I hope that you continue to find energy and inspiration and motivation to keep going through the ups and the downs, and just to know that you're not alone in this work and that what you do matters. So thanks so much, everyone. Take care.